North and South poles are located on opposite sides of the globe and many of their polar features are opposite to each other. But apart from their distinct geographic location, they have fundamental differences from each other that most of us are unaware of. The North Pole and the South Pole may not be considered tourist lands, but apart from the excruciating cold, they have unique characteristics and rare natural phenomena occur in them. If you would like to get to know 10 basic and interesting differences between the North Pole and the South Pole, in addition to these features, stay with us. The Arctic region, North Pole, is located in the North Pole region of the Earth and has a natural melting cycle, according to which almost half of the ice layers melt in the summer and freeze again in the winter and return to their previous size. The area of the Arctic, the only ice layer, during the winter is about the same as the entire area of the United States of America. Of course, according to an alarming study that has just been conducted, the Greenland ice sheet, in Denmark, with a thickness of 3.5 kilometers is rapidly melting and half of it may be lost by the end of this century. Several other scientific studies have claimed that Arctic summers will be ice-free in less than 100 years. On the other hand, the continent of Antarctica, South Pole, does not have such a regular melting cycle and its ice layer maintains its size and shape in 12 months of the year. Of course, recent scientific studies have shown that the Antarctic ice is also melting, but not due to natural processes, but due to the effects of global warming. Experts say that if one day all the ice in Antarctica melts, something that will not happen in the near future, the water level of the seas and oceans will rise 60 meters. Another interesting point is that the ice in the Arctic region melts faster because it is immersed in water and the ocean currents will accelerate the melting process, while the substrate in the Antarctic region is rocky and is not affected by such a phenomenon, or it is affected very little. Hole in the ozone layer in the North and South Poles. Over the Antarctic region there is a hole in the ozone layer, which is now almost 3 times the size of the United States, which includes all US states plus Alaska. The ozone layer above the Arctic region is also getting thinner every day, but no holes have appeared in it yet. Here, it is necessary to state that the phrase hole in the ozone layer does not mean that a physical gap will be created in this layer. In fact, this phrase describes an atmospheric phenomenon whose more scientific definition is as follows: a chemical substance called ozone exists in the Earth's atmosphere and protects the Earth from harmful solar radiation. In some parts, when its area is reduced or completely disappears, we say that a hole has been created in the ozone layer. In the Northern Hemisphere, less ozone is lost compared to the Southern Hemisphere, because the higher temperature of the North Pole prevents the formation of polar stratospheric clouds that destroy the ozone layer. Of course, the temperature of the stratospheric layer in the North Pole has gradually decreased in recent years, and this has caused the concentration of its ozone layer to decrease significantly. Which pole is colder? The South Pole is much colder than the North Pole. In fact, the temperature of the Antarctic region is so low that in some parts of this continent, the snow never melts. The average annual temperature of this area is -49 degrees Celsius, which makes it the coldest place on the planet. But the average winter temperature of the Arctic region is -34 degrees Celsius, and its summer average is even a few degrees warmer than this value. The lowest temperature ever recorded on Earth was recorded at the Weizsäck Research Station near the Antarctic Geomagnetic Zone. The Arctic region consists of only one layer of ice, and that is why it is more damaged by climate change. Distinct Arctic and Antarctic wildlife. Most people think that polar bears and penguins live in the same habitat. But this is a false belief that TV ads and media have created. The fact is that penguins live only in the southern hemisphere of the Earth and Antarctica, and in this continent there is no danger of being attacked by any predatory animal. If penguins and polar bears lived in the same area, the bears would no longer worry about their food source. The polar bear is the largest terrestrial predator and is considered a native species of the northern hemisphere. Polar bears rule over the icy northern region of the Arctic Ocean and eat porpoises, manatees, and even the occasional medium-sized whale. The different status of black gold in North and South Pole. According to the estimates of the United States Geological Survey, almost half of the remaining oil resources in the world are gathered under the ice layer of the northern part of the polar orbit. For this reason, Russia has claimed ownership of a large part of the Arctic region and plans to extract the resources of the Lomonosov Ridge, a sea rise under the Arctic Ocean. The length of this area is more than 1,800 kilometers, and it is said that there are up to 10 billion tons of crude oil in it. The United States also marks its polar borders in the Arctic and marks the territory of the United States near Alaska by sending icebreakers. There are probably oil resources under the continental crust of the Antarctic region, in areas such as the Ross Sea, but according to the Antarctic Agreement, any oil extraction in this area is strictly prohibited.